Welcome to Afterlife Café TV, connecting hearts, healing souls, and bridging worlds. I'm your host, Helen Peacock, and this is your sacred grounds, a warm, welcoming space where you're invited to take a seat, exhale, and just be. Each week, we will gather cafe style for heartfelt conversations, some mediumship, and maybe some intuitive insights and soulful storytelling that explore the afterlife, some healing, grieving, and the unbreakable bond between us and those in spirit. Here, laughter and tears are both welcome. Love transcends time, and spirit meets us in the most human of ways. So if you're seeking comfort, connection, or a deeper trust in your own inner knowing, you're in the right place. So pour yourself something warm and let's begin. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another episode. And I'm really excited about my guest. She's actually a friend of mine from way, way back. But before we get there, I just want to mention that today's conversation is about honoring grief, understanding it, and remembering that we are never alone in it. And this beautiful friend of mine has a journey that I would love for her to share about herself and the heart behind Joyous Sorrow. And before we begin that, I just want to mention that now this was not set intentionally with my last guest that I had last week, who happened to be a Toronto Argonaut cheerleader. And that's how we met. Only just to realize that when I chatted with Zena to see if she wanted to come on, she's an Argo cheerleader as well. And that's how we originally met many, many, many moons. But you and I were on the same squad.
Yes, we were.
We were the munchies. We were the munchies, right?
Yes, we were.
And so I just wanted to say that was not planned. And, you know, our cheerleader friends might be going, is she going down the roster list? Am I next kind of thing?
Who's next? Who's next?
But no, it's just, I don't believe in coincidences. I don't know. But anyway, can call it a fluke. But I'm just so happy that you're here. And I just wanted to put that out there. That's how I know Zena. And would you mind sharing your journey?
No, absolutely.
Of how Joyous Sorrow came about, because it's really touching, and that's why I'm excited to have you here, just to share your love, your joy, your peace,
thanks,
all of that. So,
well, it's been a long journey. Mm-hmm. I met the love of my life, and we were married, and 9 months after, he unexpectedly passed away. So I was, you're walking through your hopes, dreams, and expectations of having this beautiful life together, and then all of a sudden it's shattered. And when I say I shattered, I can't believe the grief and the turmoil that I went through. And not only that, then 5 months later, my dad passed away. So I honestly just held in my grief, mm-hmm. and then started taking care of my mom. We needed the preparations for the funeral and all those other things. And it was just a blink of an eye that I had already gone through that. Mm-hmm. So I was able to console her and help her. And I've always been of the mindset of the mind-body connection. Like, I love to work out, meditation, all of that. And I was really, really struggling when Josh passed away. And I say Josh first because oh God, it was profound. Like, it was just my whole world. It was like, mm-hmm. I was up on the clouds and everything was euphoric. And then a thunderstorm just I almost think of it as a Shakespearean play sometimes, that it was so magical with this tragic ending. Mm-hmm. And tragic ending for us both, because we wanted to share our lives together. And I realize now that I really got to spend the rest of his life with me. Mm-hmm. Right. So anyway, I really tried to navigate my healing, and I went to the Bereaved Families of Ontario, and they had some great programs there, and they had facilitators. The one course that I did want to go to be with them it was an older group. Oh. So it was the end of life, where which is more of a natural
Yeah.
progression. And so these individuals were, I walked in and I was the youngest one. Like they thought I was the facilitator, right? So I had a hard time navigating where to find a spousal support group for individuals
Oh,
that were,
really?
oh yeah, oh yeah. There was, I went to I went to this open group, and the open group was more of they had a loss of a mom and a brother, and so collectively, yes, we are grieving, and
Mm-hmm.
it was very cathartic that you're sharing your
Mm-hmm.
stories, and I do believe you need to do that
Yeah, I agree.
because then you get some insight as
Yeah.
to, oh my gosh, and you're not alone
I'm not alone. Yeah.
because when you're grieving, you are in such isolation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so eventually I found hospice group up here in Barrie. And it was an amazing story. The angels always guide you,
Yes,
as
they
you
do.
know. I was having a horrible, horrible day. And it was a snowstorm. And I drove into hospice, Simcoe. And I said, I need to talk to somebody. Like this is crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm in
Mm-hmm.
all this pain. And this woman said, oh my goodness, like we are actually starting a grief support group for people that have lost their spouse under the age of 50.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh
Talk
yeah.
about good timing. You were being
Amazing
taken care
timing.
of.
Totally.
Definitely.
So I have to tell you, those people, shout out to the Gigi's, we are still friends to this day. And that is going back 8 years now.
Can you explain Gigi's?
Grief group.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just in case
just
my
something.
listeners
Yeah, yeah.
weren't
It was
aware of
just
that.
our grief group, and it was a great. It was facilitated very well. There was a booklet, and you navigate it. But then look what happens. You're finished with your 6 weeks. You're walking out the door, and now you're grieving again. Another relationship of all these people that you've just met. So
Yes.
it's just like
That totally makes sense. Yeah.
it totally makes sense, right? How Joyous Sorrow came to be was, as I said, Helen, I did a lot of work. I went to a one-on-one grief specialist who was very good, but for me, sitting there and talking and talking and talking, I was like, when is this going to feel better?
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do? Please tell me what I need to do to take this freaking pain away from me because I can't, it's daunting. It's just, life shattering. And I then stumbled across the grief recovery method, and it's based in the States. And I went as a student. And when I went there, I was in a group of people and all different losses. Well, now I'm pissed off. Like, I'm like, hey, I'm like, I came here because grief and loss of a spouse or death of your loved one it should be on top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I here with someone who's divorced? This person lost their job, blah, blah, blah. The facilitator said to me, Zena, just have an open heart. Right?
Yes. And grieving is grieving no matter what.
Grieving is grieving.
Mm-hmm.
And it really did open my eyes and my heart to there's so many losses in our life
Yep.
that we go through that we don't even, we don't have the tools to navigate ourselves through it. So I took the course and as a student, and I had a profound shift. I was like, wow, my pain has now shifted to
Mm-hmm.
sadness.
Oh,
And the lady, because we had one-on-ones, the lady that I was speaking with, she was like, oh my God, I don't even want to be with you. Like, you lost your husband, and now you lost your father. And like, I'm grieving like my husband and I are fighting all the time, and, the loss of his job. And I said, but it really taught me, but that's her story. That's
do you
her
think
grief.
do you think there's a lot of comparing going on too?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, there's this shame. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of shame around
That
grief.
yeah, I
I
can I
don't
can resonate
think,
with that.
that people can't speak of it. I've been around my loved ones and my girlfriends that don't bring up his name because they think it's going to upset me or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And it's not. More than anything, I say his name. You know what I mean? Let's
Should
have a
wear a tag.
conversation.
Wear a
Yeah,
little
say
tag.
his name.
So say my name. Say my name.
Yeah.
Sorry. That was one
No,
complete
that's
opposite.
okay. So after taking the course, I went back and I got certified. And
How
I
long
went
how long did
through.
it take you?
It took me about 2 months.
Okay.
And then I took an advanced course in it. So not only did I do the general, now I am an advanced grief recovery method
Okay.
specialist, and also did some grief coaching alongside, like as a
Nice.
life coach, it's your grief coaching, and it really did help me. And I think um, I remember being in the kitchen with my mom, and she was, I come from a corporate background,
Mm-hmm.
and I went to university. I have my psych degree, and then it wavered into the real estate development world, which I love doing. But I remember saying to my mom, this did not happen for me not to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, honest to God, like I really need to help somebody, or just sit with them, because I know what it feels like. I know what that anguish is, that pain. I don't know exactly how you feel, but I can relate.
Can relate. Yeah.
I can relate. And then with that, Joyous Sorrow came to be, and here I am. I do some
Mm-hmm.
women's healing circle groups, and that's just an offset of not the grief recovery method. It's just another group setting, and we do a lot of different, open work. We talk about our loved ones that have passed. We do some arts and crafts and some healing modalities, you know what I mean, that really
Yeah.
do that.
Bringing like-minded people together and
Yeah,
still sharing amongst the creativity that's happening at the same time. Even that's
100%.
healing right there.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you come
So
up with the name? Because it's such a beautiful name.
thank you. It just appeared one day. I did a lot of writing. Um, I'm not a big journal person. Like
Mm-hmm.
my therapist would be like, "You have to journal." I'm like, "No, I'm not journaling because I don't want someone to find this." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I don't want to journal. But I would write poems, or if something would really stick out. And the biggest thing is, I learned that you can have joy and sorrow together.
Mm-hmm.
Joy is different than happiness, right?
Yep.
Joy is more blissful,
Mm-hmm.
right? There, happiness is almost fleeting, but joy it's a, for me anyway. And the sorrow is always going to be there. There's just a little twinkle in even the good things, like today. I spoke to Josh this morning, saw my dad's picture, and I go, who would have thought, like losing the two most important men in my life,
Mm-hmm.
that it would evolve into healing others. So that's
That's
where I
a
am.
that's well, that's a beautiful story. If for my listeners, what would you say would be the biggest misunderstanding of grieving? Or
Uh,
going to see a counselor or being in a group?
I think group work, everyone's individual. Like your grief is as an individual as your fingerprint, right?
Yeah.
So what may work for one person
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work for other. Like some people love being in a group setting and it's just talk therapy and it's cathartic for them. But going on a hamster wheel over and over again, your grief, if you don't work through that time, it's not what you do within that time. That's the misconception. I hate it when everyone, oh, just give it time. How much time? It's what you do within that time that's
Yeah.
really going to help you. Like, Helen, I'm going in, like, Josh's passing will be 9 years this October.
9 years.
And there's still
That
days.
9 years already?
Yeah. And there's still days where I come across an article of his clothing, or I had written a blog on my Joyous Sorrow Instagram about his phone. And I'm sobbing on the floor, you know? Um, the misconception is, I think society just thinks it's a normal way of life, right? You're born, you die,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're not given the tools to help us when grief appears. When it's at your front door, like, how do I navigate this? What do
Mm-hmm.
I do? I mean, like, Christ, you go into work and they give you 3 bereavement days.
Yeah. That I don't
So
agree with at
I
all.
don't agree with it all.
Yeah.
It takes 3 days just to plan a funeral.
One of the things I've noticed when it comes to my clients, that one of the things that was hard for them to get over, not get over, but going through the grieving process, is when the loved one passes and the work that they have to do
Mm-hmm.
with the will, getting, the afterlife or the celebration of life, sorry,
Yep.
all of that. And it's like, where do you find time to grieve? Like you had to
You
go
do.
and go right and take care of your mom right away. And I'm sure you
Yep.
probably had to take care of when it came to your dad passing, the
Yep.
will and the states and all that stuff, that's something that it really, I just wish there was somehow like maybe hire someone, I don't know, like hire
I
someone to
know.
handle
I
all that,
know.
right?
There are supports within the funeral homes. There are some that actually do guide you through that.
Yeah.
But you're right. And especially if it's like the first loss and it's unexpected.
But those are the worst because you're dealing with trauma, right? But the thing is that you're just like in shock, and then all of a sudden you're being thrown into all of these responsibilities.
Yes.
And that's why I say this a lot and I'll say it again. People, please get your ducks in a row,
Hmm.
get your wills ready, like talk, have the uncomfortable conversation and talk about what you would like to have done, all of those things.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of question marks. So that's why I say, please it doesn't matter how old you are, how healthy you are.
So true.
We don't know when our
Josh
time
was
is up.
54. Josh was 54. He
See,
went in for
perfect.
surgery and he died of a pulmonary embolism.
Wow.
Yeah. He,
Wow.
it
And
was,
do you mind if I ask, like, was that okay? Like, did he have his ducks in a row? Did you have that conversation with him
oh,
before?
I was like, we need to talk. And
Okay,
even
good.
with his daughter. And at also he was of the Jewish faith and I'm
Oh,
Catholic.
oh,
So
oh,
I'm like, what goes on? Like, we haven't had this conversation.
wow.
And he's like, it's okay, because he never thought he was going to go.
And
He
that
never thought he
happens a
was going to
lot.
go.
Yeah.
But luckily, his friend and our best man, he stepped up and he really did help us
Oh,
through that
that's nice.
process. And of course, with the Jewish faith, within 2 days, you have to be buried. So I was like,
2 days.
I was a zombie. I was a complete zombie trying to get that stuff done. But there's a lot. That's another episode, Helen, of all these
Yeah.
like misconceptions that you think or things that come up that you never ever would have thought of when someone passes. It's all the uncertainties, right, of life.
Yeah.
But
And
he's given me a gift. His loss has given me a gift in a way.
what do
I
they
love
call
people.
that? It's like the beauty and the sorrow. Well, you call it
Yes.
sorrow,
Yeah.
right? And I love the word joy, by the way. That when spirit comes through, they tend to use that word quite often.
Do
Is
they?
they just want you to have more joy, bring more joy and bring more bliss into your life,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what they want for us. And would you say, like, did you believe do you? I've never even had this conversation. Well, we kind of did, but do you believe in the afterlife? Like, do you believe in mediumship? Like, did you believe in this before you lost your loved ones? When you lost
I did.
Josh, you did.
In
So you,
fact, I'm going to tell you a little story.
okay.
So I do believe.
Okay.
I believe in God, a higher power. I was raised Catholic. And then I turned into more spiritual,
Yep.
and my angels and spirit guides. And we would be in the car and we couldn't find a parking spot. And I go, Josh, just ask the angels. There's a parking spot right there. And he's like, okay, angels, where's the parking spot?
That's a
And then,
typical male thing.
but
Sorry.
you want to know something? Car pulled out. He's looking at me going, okay,
See?
yeah.
See?
When we found out he was going for some tests, because he wasn't feeling well and he
Hmm.
was going through some tests, and I was meditating each morning and I was doing my angel cards. And the two cards that kept appearing was divine guidance and divine timing. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, well, I need another card. And then the soulmate card came up.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, we're soulmates. This is great. It's just, but now I look back and I'm like, okay, I was getting all the signs and little nudges, and I didn't see it. I didn't,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? And since then, I actually went the other way. Didn't love God anymore. How
Yeah.
could you do this? It was 5 years until I stepped into a church again.
Wow.
Um, but then that comes with your healing,
It
right?
does.
You really do need
all
to
the
heal. It
all
can
the different
fester.
stages they say,
Ah,
right? Like it's, 1 minute you're angry, 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad. Like you're just all it's like a roller coaster ride.
oh my God, for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like, and as soon as you own that, um, then it's easier. And like I said, I see some people and I meet people and my clients, and You can see how angry they are. But a lot of people, they don't want to heal. And the fact that then the pain that they have for their loved one, which is love,
Yeah.
this enormous amount of love and the grief that they hold. If I heal myself, then I'm doing a disservice to them, or I'm not honoring their
Yeah.
passing. I'm not honoring my
Exactly.
love. And that's the only thing I have holding on to them.
Hmm.
When, as you know, they just want you to live and love and be happy and be joyful.
Continue. They just want you to
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And I find there's, I've had some clients where I've known them for a long time since I've been doing my work, and it's just like, you know, everybody grieves differently. And at some
Agreed.
point, it's just like at some point, I'm not saying completely let go, but at some point, you got to pick up the pieces and move on.
Hmm.
And it's just like you kind of like what you just said. It's kind of like owning that identity of, I would want to say like a victim. Like some people just want to wallow in being the
True.
victim. And, I've seen it over and over. And it's just like at
Hmm.
some point, you have to pick up the pieces. But who am I to say? Everybody's journey is different.
Everyone's different.
Right. Just like when there's so many books, and I say that, I said, there are so many books out there. I can't even tell you which one to go to.
Hmm.
Everybody grieves differently and grieve the way that feels good for you.
Hmm.
But at some point, you do have to, like, if it's been like 10, 15 years and you haven't left the house, that's
Yeah.
where I'm like, okay, intervention.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
and
100%.
there are people out there that they just will not, they just want to stay in their own little bubble and just wallow. And
Hmm.
I feel for those people. I do. But there's only so
Well,
much that we can do
exactly.
for them.
Exactly. And I think that the one thing too is, as I said, I'm very, I take care of my health and fitness and my
Hmm.
my mental health and so on and so forth, right? All through, even since I've been a teenager, and went
Yeah.
for therapy if I wasn't feeling good and figuring out my feelings and my emotions. So when this was happening, I was like, oh my God, like what's going on here? And it's scary. I got to a point where it was very frightening
Hmm.
what I was feeling. So I knew I needed to get some help, right? And other people, they could also, I've met others that are just so bitter and angry, and then that festers within your body, and then you get sick,
Yeah.
right? It
What
all
about
just
your
festers.
mom? Did she join any groups
My
at
mom
all?
did.
Did
My mom
she?
did. Unfortunately, the facilitator that was where she was at, like I was ready to go down there and be like,
Hmm.
Peter, um, and that's what it is. I think when you've walked the walk, you can talk the talk. There's an
Yes.
empathy, especially when you're dealing with grief and loss, right? There needs to be some sort of empathy with the people that are coming to you. They're vulnerable.
Hmm. They
They're
are.
looking, they're so like, what do I do? I'm lost. Um, and then she did find somebody else. We did find somebody that did more of an action base
Okay.
type of healing for her. Mom's anxiety went through the roof after, because
Yes.
she has never been alone, right?
Alone. Yeah. I
Alone.
find it's harder for spouses, especially when they're in a long relationship. It's like, how do I pick up the pieces? And you're
Hmm.
still living in the same house and you're walking through the house and they're everywhere.
And
Like, how do
especially
you,
when that person was doing all of the legwork. They were doing paying the bills and
yeah,
doing this. But now all of a sudden, oh, girl, there's so many things that just it's
yeah.
a Pandora's box, right? That
Well, there is,
you
because
can't
I know
even
I'm going to
imagine.
have you back, but there is one conversation I would love to have, and that is relationship wise about going forward, continuing.
Hmm.
So
Yes.
we'll save that because
Okay.
I'm really curious about that because I do have, I have clients that are like, how's he going to feel if I date? Does he know? Things like that. So I want to save that for another episode
Okay. Yes.
because I really feel there's some,
Because does he know? Does he?
well, they know everything. They know everything. Right. And so I'd love to continue that on. So we do have to come to near the end here.
Okay.
Just one thing I just like to say, right, is for everyone that's out there that's listening, right, is just remembering, like, okay, hold on a second. It's like, I just want to wrap this up really in such a beautiful way. And
Hmm.
it's like remembering that grief is love. that still speaks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And in today's, this little conversation that you and I just have, we just created that space to honor both.
Exactly.
Right. So I just want to say thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I'm, there's so many layers to this that we can touch base on. So that's why I said to you before, I was like, you know what, let's just talk about your journey and then we'll continue on to different subjects that, because it's definitely needed. And I do have to say, I like those wings behind you. Because you are the earth angel. So how do my listeners, my viewers, how do they get a hold of you?
My website is joyoussorrow.com. And I'm also on Facebook, and Joyous Sorrow is also on Instagram.
Yeah, I did visit your Instagram page. I love the consistency. It's just black and white. Everything about it is just black and white. It's so clean. Mine, it's all over the place. It's like, but yours is just like everything's in order. It's just so neat. So yeah, I do suggest for everyone out there, visit Zena's Instagram page. She does have some nice messages in there.
Yeah, it's
there was
more of a personal blog, if you will.
Yeah.
Like it's not sale.
But that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
It's you're being authentic, you're being real, you're sharing who you are, you're sharing your journey. And I know there's lots of others out there. So I just want to again thank you so much for being here today. And we'll continue this forward. And for my listeners and my viewers, thank you for being here. And I hope you come back and see what more conversations that we have about the Afterlife Cafe.
Much love.
Okay. Much love to you. Blessings.
I want to thank you for tuning in to Afterlife Café TV, connecting hearts and bridging worlds. I'm Helen Peacock, and I am so grateful, yes, it makes my heart sing, that you chose to spend this time here with me. So to continue the connection, I do invite you to tune in to the Transformation Talk Radio every Tuesday at 11 a.m. for new episodes. And you can also visit my website at helenpeacock.ca to find out more about my sessions, group readings, yes, even Zoom group readings, and perhaps some events I may be holding. And also, there will be a course on your psychic development, mediumship development, if you're interested in that. And just know that there are more ways to gather in our Sacred Grounds community, where you can also, again, find me at helenpeacock.ca. So, if this episode touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the space reach others who may need it too. So until next time, trust the signs, stay curious, and remember, love never ends. It's just different.